The goal of the Critical Chain Challenge is to apply Critical Chain project management to one of your projects. Every project manager can apply Critical Chain with Link's Flow. One of the participants of the Critical Chain Challenge asked how to set up a project when most of the work is contracted to other companies. And this is a great question and a great application of Critical Chain project management. And it's easier than you think. But you might be concerned about resistance from the other companies. From companies with a traditional contracting and subcontracting background to implement Critical Chain project management. But you don't need to worry about that. They don't need to know. I show you how. The purpose of this demo is to learn how to integrate and manage multiple subcontractor projects, easily with links. This is particularly interesting if you work with subcontractors or contractor alliances, because when you manage to collaborate on even this large scale, you achieve better results and you set yourself apart, because many struggle with their subcontractors. And it is easier than you think. Okay, step by step. Either in their own Links workspace or in Microsoft Projects, your subcontractor must create their own planning. Imagine this is the project plan of a subcontractor. You know how to create planning in Links yourself, isn't it? Otherwise, just check the first replay of the Critical Chain Challenge. This is the entire planning. And if you select the Critical Chain view, you just see the tasks that build up the critical chain or the critical path. And we are only going to work with these tasks on the critical chain. This makes managing multi-contractor projects dramatically easier. It is totally reasonable to ask your subcontractors or alliance partners to share with you the task on the critical chain of their projects. It is absolutely no problem. And to constantly demand updates from them on the progress of just these tasks. That should be their prime focus and you don't need more information. To create the integrated plan, I need to enter the critical chain of the subcontractor projects together in a separate project planning. And I do that manually. You might think it would be handy to import those projects directly from Links or directly from MS Projects and link everything together. My clients do ask for that, but the plans of subcontractors are normally full of errors, faults, unclarities, obsolete information you don't need. They're too big, too complicated to grasp, distract from what is really important, the critical chain. Just ask for the critical chain. It provides you with an easy quality check on their project plan. And you just need their critical chain, not their problems. And you don't need to worry that you need to copy hundreds of tasks manually. Normally critical chains are small and just consist of few of the total number of tasks. Just do it manually. It is easy. And this is the integrated planning already. All projects are in. And this is our critical chain. Now I'm going to convert the integral planning into an integral critical chain planning. Whether your subcontractor admit or not, their projects contain significant reserves and buffers. People do that automatically without thinking about it. They often don't know themselves. But believe me, projects are full of it. So I take apart 33% of the duration of the task as a reserve and move it to the end of the project as a buffer to absorb the uncertainties. You know the steps from previous videos. First apply the task time reduction. And then add the buffer to the end of the project. It's a simple planning trick that gives you lots of control. Your subcontractors don't need to know about it. They don't even need to understand the principles of critical chain. That's the beauty of it. They don't need to know. Now the critical chain integrated project planning, and I'm going to simulate for you the execution of the project. Imagine every week I have a meeting with the other project managers from the subcontractors. Each of them reports the progress on the task of the critical chain. I change the status to completed of all completed tasks. I enter the estimated time to complete for just the task they are working on. And this should be just one task per contractor. Yeah, that's all. And next week the same, and so on and so on. And after a couple of weeks the first project is completed. That's now. It's a good moment to see where we are. We see the planning. When selecting the critical chain view, you see the actual progress compared to the planning. Now the other contractors can start working on their projects. Every week I get an update from them on their estimated time to complete for their active tasks, and I just make the updates in links. Just like this, giving me full insight in the progress of all projects without being overwhelmed. I just need to do 6 updates a week, that's all. You see that the end date of the buffer stays in place while the buffer itself gets consumed. As long as the buffer is in the green or in the yellow, the project will be finished before the buffer will be fully consumed, so it will be finished in time. But in this situation the buffer is red. When the project stays in the red, it will be too late. And the longer I wait to take remedial action, the harder it's gonna be. So every time the project gets into the red, I contact the contractor, recovery action is needed. The Viva chart shows you the progress over time, and this also indicates immediate action is needed. You see how easy it is to integrate these projects together with a minimum of effort and brings you in control of the project. And the beauty is you can pinpoint with laser precision when and where to intervene, probably even before your contractor is aware of it, and that's absolutely great. Without the need for them to have understanding of critical chain, without the need for them to go through the links training themselves. And when they do the updates in links themselves, the instruction for that is just a minute. I assign the contractors with the role of task manager, and when they log in, this is what they see. They see the tasks. And they can make the updates. It is so simple. Finally, I like to make some considerations with you. Make upfront a couple of agreements with your contracting company. They need to share the task of the critical chain with you, and every time they start working on a new task, and every time they complete the task, they must inform you. And they must inform you also frequently, on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, the estimated time to complete of the task they are currently working on and that are part of the critical chain. And most of the time that is just one task. So this is a very reasonable request. That shouldn't be absolutely no problem at all. You learned that you need to focus on the critical chain task only. You might wonder, don't need the other tasks be monitored? And the answer is, yes, of course. Of course they need to be monitored. But that is what the contractor is doing. You only need to know whether they are in control or not. And that's what you learn from the critical chain. As soon as the project enters the red zone in the Viva chart, you know they are losing control. And the only thing you need to do is to contact them and demand remedial actions. You have seen how to integrate and manage projects with subcontractors, easily in links. And how easy it is to combine this with critical chain project management. This gives you so much control, and it is so easy. It helps you to get in control and stay in control of your subcontractors.